So then, in a quick response to a video that I did a long time ago now, and also in response to 2 review videos that I did which got some good reactions, I thought it was important that I talked about one guitar in particular that I've been asked an awful lot of questions about particularly in the last few months, because one of the videos ended up on a page somewhere. And that guitar is one that I've used live many times. I've used in the studio and I've used recording a lot of things, and it is right here. And it is the LCD Viper 256. And it's a strange guitar because it's sort of shunned in a weird way because of its shape, you know, because it's I like a shunned guitar. I've discovered that because people think, oh, it's an SG rip-off, or it's, you know, LTD, you know, it's not ESP. I think it's going to be a cheap and cheerful instrument. However, cheap is right. I'm not sure what the going rate for these is now, but I got this for only a few €100. A good while ago now, must be nearly 4 years ago. And I've done many a gig with it. It's never let me down, and it became my most reliable live instrument that I've probably ever owned. And there's a lot of reasons for it, and the price isn't one of them. That's the thing. So we're going to take you through a few aspects of what this guitar really is. First of all, as we've already said, it's an SG. It's obviously a takeoff of an SG. The body itself is very heavy. It's a very heavy guitar. So, and questions that were often asked is, what's the build quality like? And, you know, is it solid? Is it this, that, and the other? I hope to answer them in this video. It's made of mahogany, and as you can see, it's a lovely grain to it. It needs a bit of a clean actually as well. It's one piece with a semi-set neck. The neck is the same wood with a rosewood fretboard with 24 frets, and as you can see, it's quite thick, which is nice. It's got a big heel joint here as well, which actually makes it very comfortable to play low down here at the nut. This guitar is as stock as you can get. I've seen ones with EMGs and things, not my cup of tea, but these ones, good, solid, sort of medium range output humbuckers really, you know. This is a lovely warm pickup. I tend to be a neck pickup dweller. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this strap on because it's a heavy instrument and I don't want to drop it. Believe it or not, I dropped this guitar about 20 seconds before I turned this camera on, and there isn't a dent on it, which is amazing. Now I've said that, I've jinxed it. I'm probably going to find one. Now, specifics. We'll start from this end. With a Tune-o-matic style bridge, and it's made by ESP. It's very, very reliable. I've never even had to reset this intonation at all. I tend to be a pretty a stickler for what I use, and they never really change, and it's usually the Dario XL strings, either 10s or 11s, or sometimes a mixture of both. At the moment I've got 10s on the bottom and an 11 gauge on the top, right, because I've been doing a bit of down tune stuff, so it's more of a for that sort of thing, but holds up very well. The pickups, as I say, they're humbuckers. They're, let's say, they're warm enough, but you can roll the tone off and get them even warmer. But with a lot of dirt through them and a big amp, you can make a big sound. The wiring harness on this one is very simple. I like simple because the less interference between here and here, the better, I find. And it is, I say, a volume and a tone, and a 3-way selector, which is very nice. That's actually very, very quick as well. A lot of other guitars I've got with a 3-way selector is clunky in the middle. It's like a gear shifter. These, I always say straight off the bat, they get a bit slippery and a little bit slick when you play in anger and you get sweat on your hands or it's running down you. So live, I used to put a bit of tape on, particularly the volume, for doing rolls and stuff like that. Otherwise you tend to glide off it or you'd miss it entirely. The other little secret in this guitar is its coil tap, which works through the tone knob, and it's a push-pull system, like so, which is very well built. This has never gone wrong either. And what that does is it very effectively splits these coils. But in the bridge pickup, I believe it splits it so that it's just this one here. And when you use the neck pickup, it goes up to the top one here. So it's very twangy telly-tone here on the neck, or on the bridge, and on the neck it's a very sweet, almost like a P90 style ringing bell type chime tone. And with a bit of fuzz, works very, very well. And in the middle, it just uses these two together, so it's like one split humbucker. Very good for rhythm and clean tones. By the way, just to explain, there will be a secondary video attached to the end of this one where I'll do all the sound tests, because I've decided I'm going to do them recording into a computer and make it nice and clean. So you're going to get clean, you know, the usual rabbit about this and this. You don't want me talking over it, you want to hear it. And then I'm going to play along to a backing track, as I always do, just to annoy you. Now, the fretboard. As I say, it's a thick, chunky neck. You've got good access at all sides, even up to the 24th fret. The frets get a little bit small after here, so you're not going to be doing a lot of widdly stuff up here. You're going to be holding it, but the sustain is very good. I have lowered this a tiny bit, the saddle here, so you've got a nice low action all the way along with no buzz, and still has a nice resonant quality to it. The frets on this one, they're actually a lot wider than frets I'm normally used to. They're the same sort of height, but they're very wide frets, and for good or ill, they actually give a very percussive quality to this instrument, particularly when you're playing rhythm, you know. Very snappy, you know. See, and I've been playing this guitar. I did a video which is going to be the previous video to this one, where I was shredding all over this neck. I was in the mood to do so, and I didn't have to tune it before I played, and I don't have to tune it now. So it's saying that, it's just gone out of tune. Murphy's Law. The nut on this one, so it's plastic. You know, there's no bone or metal tricks or anything here at all. But it's cut really well. I've always found these to be cut very well. I've played a few of these ESPs and LCDs over the years, and from signature models down to these base models, they're always incredibly well made, particularly up here. And this binding, which you see going around it, is flawless. I can't say anything bad about that. It's so well made, and there's not one overlapping bit or a bit where you can get your fingernails in. You can't get your nails under the sides of the frets at all in any way, which is often a problem on a binded guitar, because when you bind them and there's any bound nature to them like that, it tends to push away, especially if the truss rubs off. And if you get a bow in the neck, these are the first things to pop. This one, very, very good. I say that binding continues all the way around the headstock, with this lovely, beautiful mother of pearl style inlay for the logo. And that continues all the way down here. I like these sort of off-centered, almost like flag shapes, taking on, you know, the first, the third, the fifth, etc. Never been too keen on overly advertising the name of the guitar on the neck, but they tastefully done it, and you wouldn't know of it really if you weren't looking for it. But it's a beautiful instrument, and so I've done gigs on this where they've been 45-minute riffathons. And then there's ones where this was in an old band that I was in, where, prime example, we were playing a biker rally. Halfway through the gig, I switched from a Jackson King V to this, for no other reason than it started sounding, the Jackson was a bit thin tone, very thin neck as far as I remember. And I switched to this and we're having a little bit of problems with the sound, and the second I put this in, we were doing a clutch cover, Let a Poor Man Be. It bloomed. The sound of it just rang. It really worked with the bass. We were a 3-piece band with a singer. And I've got videos from that gig, which you'll find on here, by the way. And urge you to watch them, because in live playing conditions, this is an animal of a guitar. And some of them solos tended to get a bit freebirdy in the end. Don't know whether anyone really liked them, but I enjoyed them. You never had a problem with stamina or pain in your hands with this. I mean, I know it's a big neck. Some people are frightened of big necks, and it's understandable, but I've got little girly hands, so whenever I'm knuckles cracked from here to hell, and I can navigate this neck. I say it might take a bit of practice, or it might be the fact that I played an old telly for a long time. Lovely percussive rhythm sound to this one. The neck, when you see this heel joint here, that's a little bit that kind of trips me up a tiny bit, because I'm not expecting it. It's only going to hit you here on the base of the palm here, and when it does, it's only a split second, but I've often been in the groove in the middle of something, particularly doing widdly stuff up here, and it does hit a little tiny bit. It's a tiny flaw in it, but otherwise a very good instrument. The machine heads are LCD. Hang on, I'll take this off again because we've got an arse about face. They're LCD. They're very nice. I advise you to tighten them. They're the best stock machine heads I've ever gotten on a guitar. If you over tighten them, you'll ruin there's a little O-ring in here. Never do that. This one here suffered for that one. I had to do a bit of work on that one because I was changing strings for a gig. But once you look after them and once you tighten them, just so they're very reliable. There's another problem I have with these sort of instruments, and I know they're mass produced and all that, but why put the kite numbers, the kite marks and the Made in Vietnam things on the paint? ESP, please use stickers in the future. We might want to see this once, or we want to resell it, but we don't need it for every day when we're looking, because the back of the guitar neck is the bit that the guitarist sees. The crowd gets to see this lovely, beautiful cherry red mahogany top. I get to see Made in Vietnam, compliant, N227-CE. I don't need to see that. That's a minor complaint. But there we go. This guitar is called Vlad. I've had it for many years. I've done many gigs, many recordings, and I will continue to use it. And if I ever get to play live again, this will probably be the one I use live, because it's so reliable. It's a good stock guitar that I'm comfortable in the hands, and it'll become a best friend. I've got some good memories with it, and I intend to make a lot more. There's not much more to say about it really, so what we're going to do now is you're going to see me cutting inside, and we're going to make some noise. There's going to be me running through very quickly, because I know everyone loves to hear someone sound checking pickups. Very quickly I'm going to just go neck pickup, bridge pickup, in the middle, clean. Neck pickup, bridge pickup, in the middle, coil tapped. And then I'm going to do a little bit of messing on each pickup, rolling off the tone. Then we're going to put a bit of dirt through it, just a clean overdrive. And then also at the end of it, we're going to have, as long as I care, as long as I want, because it's my video, I'm just going to shred over a nice backer track that I found. And I say thank you very much for watching my last 2 review videos. I've got some great responses out of them, and a lot of people said they bought that guitar because of that. And in particular the Golden video, which I did, the Radiator, which I still have, Medusa, and the Ibanez AS53TF, or whatever it's called, the nice big hollow body one. Still got that too. Done a lot of recording with that guitar over the last year. It's amazing thing, it's been a year since I've done one of these. But there you go. You will join me presently to make some noise. Bye bye.